Do you ever see the units in the garage?
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the time here. It's nice, but you can work on it, you can access everything. What are some of the issues with the unit in the garage?
Hot and cold air mixing.
Yep, what else?
Cool. Not seal tight.
Not sealed tight, yes. What is it, what issues does it have if it's not sealed tight?
It's cold and unconditioned air.
Unconditioned air. So if we have our house, it's crazy that we park our cars inside of our house and really think about it, because that's what a garage is, right? So you're literally putting your car in the house, but it's outside the envelope. So if we have our unit here in the garage and we are leaking, let's just say the return air is leaking. We're leaking return air into the garage. What's happening? What's going on?
Sucking in air from the garage.
Yeah. And so when does a car put out the most carbon monoxide? When is it the highest?
When it starts.
When you first start up, exactly right. So if somebody does the garage, even if it's open, they start it and immediately back it out. You're having the most amount of CO right here. It goes right into the house, right into the ductwork. Boom, it's distributed equally throughout the entire house. So starting the car up, even if it's fast. But what I see a lot of people do is they'll start the car up. Oh, let me get my GPS set, all this. And then they back out of the garage. And then they close the garage. And all of that gets distributed all over the whole entire house. So those are some issues. Now, what about if you have the return sealed up really, really good? Okay, I sealed all of this. It's really good. Get a little bit of supply leaking on the ductwork here. Air's coming out though. Is that okay?
No.
Why not? Growth? Absolutely growth. Growth is a huge issue. What else?
Sweating and massive
Sweating. Well, it's summertime. We're going to sweat, right? It's hot.
What happened last night?
went to a new install, and he had basically where we put a new supply fluid on. It was actually sweating and dripping mastic down onto his wife's Audi. And basically it was like 2 weeks ago install. The mastic was still goopy, wet, and so static pressure was fine, but obviously there's some type of leak there. We have that moisture mixing with the cold air and anyway, mastic stuff.
Is that a problem with airflow on these attic systems that you have air, right? So they come up in a straight line, right? Not straight line, 90. You have air that's standing there because it's not a perfect, they don't got no air on the vanes. That can cause that issue as well, right? If you just have standing air.
It's not
technically
a
standing air.
It's not a yes or no. There's like it depends. So it depends on that situation. But airflow is huge in that. How fast the air is moving. Is the air moving continuously? Is it circulating in one spot? It's like there's all of that plays a factor in it. On that same with the garage, we've had it before where an attic or a garage, we had to take ductboard and make and insulate the entire unit all the way around, and then make some ductboard insulation that went over the door. Because how thick's the insulation of this? It's like a quarter of an inch. Like, it's ridiculous. It's insane. So even the insulation, this coil here is below the dew point temperature. You get condensation, you have the growth, and it's like, well, we can try boosting the fan speed, but then you lose the dehumidification in the house. So there's sometimes you do these extreme outside the box things of insulating the entire unit. I think all units should be in a conditioned space, but none of the builders ask me. They say, hey, we're gonna stick it there.
One of the things that kind of got me with that too was that the actual cabinet itself was sweating. The bottom was sweating, but on the inside, the insulation was completely dry.
Yes,
on the bottom.
right.
And I couldn't understand why. Like, that should be wet too. I don't know why.
Good point.
And then
If you have a return leak, you could do that.
yeah. So it was just kind of a weird.
So inside, so there's two factors happening. We have the air inside, even though this unit's outside, all the air from the house is inside. So inside your dew point, you could be dry, it could be dehumidified, pull all the moisture out. So inside is dry. So you could be at say 50 degrees here, perfect dehumidification, everything's dry, but at 50 degrees, so there's the quarter of inch insulation. So maybe this cabinet's going to be 55 degrees. And if we look at our dew point temperature outside, what's your humidity typically during the day? You may check, see?
100%.
Probably more like 95% humidity. And so at 95% humidity, what's the temperature been during the day?
Like 100 and
So you got 100 degrees, 95% humidity. So that means your dew point temperature is going to be high. So I could run the numbers, but just give you an example. Dew point temperature, 100 degree, 95. So that means probably anything about 85 degrees or lower could be your dew point temperature. So at that point, that's where the condensation is going to start happening and forming externally. So inside, yeah, you're pulling moisture, you're dehumidifying, your airflow is good, but the temperature of this cabinet itself, below the dew point temperature, and you're going to have that condensation. And then you're going to have growth on the outside of the cabinet, or dripping in somebody's car, or in the attic, or somewhere else that's going to cause some of their issues. We've had before where there's been issues with the unit dripping down into a wall cavity. There was the wall, and often they don't insulate that, which is something else we should look for. They're dripping that moisture right between that wall. Drip all the way down to the bottom, nice dark little place, continuously feeding water. What happens? Yep, you get growth, right? You get the growth, and the growth's growing in the wall, and then you get people getting sick because it's just sheetrock. The growth is growing inside that sheetrock. Those spores and stuff's coming into the house. Some people are more sensitive than others, and you get people getting sick in their house because of something very simple like that. Now the fix here is a whole lot more difficult. Trying to figure out how to insulate the cabinet and still have access to the panels. Yeah, so you got to think inside is different than outside. So we can also have situations to where inside there's a humidity problem or an airflow problem, and then we have that moisture inside the cabinet. So you got to look at it as two different problems. So you can have the moisture, you can have it to where it's so bad inside that it's also creating a problem outside. So you got to be thinking of where that unit's located. And here, since you have such high humidity, it's an issue. In Las Vegas, not an issue. Not a problem, because our dew point is so incredibly low, you're not going to have the dehumidification issues. But here it would. So in the garage, if you had a supply air leaking, we know that as that cool air is coming out, we're going to have condensation and we're going to be dripping water. What else about supply air leaking in that garage?
Loss of efficiency.
Loss of efficiency, yeah. We're paying money to cool air and we're throwing it in the garage. What else?
I mean, how big is the leak? Because you got like a negatively pressurized home.
It's 10 CFL. How big of a leak is 1 CFL?
I have no clue. I never equated to
You're
that.
the one that asked that. It's a good question.
but that's
It's a
good.
good question. I'm just messing. It's a good question.
Yeah.
One screw missing is about 1
Oh,
CFL.
really?
Yeah. One screw missing is 1 CFL. 1 cubic foot of air. 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot every minute coming out of a missing screw hole. So when you're talking about these air leaks, like, I'm not going to tape that up because, it's fine. But I should have brought you can actually feel it. You can feel it quite a bit. So if we're taking, where does the air come from? Where does that return air coming from?
Oh,
The house. So if I have all these cubic feet of air and I take a cubic air out of the house and I throw it into the garage, what's happening?
You lose the negative pressurizer.
Yes. So I've taken this cubic foot of air out of the garage. That means another cubic foot of air somewhere has to get back in.
Keep pulling it.
So it could be in the garage, even though you're having a supply air leak, you could be pulling it under that door or whatever. You can be pulling the carbon monoxide from that garage into the house, even lawnmowers. You can be pulling that carbon monoxide into the house. Or even if it's all electric and they don't use the garage for any of that, you're still losing the money, the efficiency for cooling that air into the garage. Plus, you're having to then bring outside air back in. Plus, so that efficiency loss, you got one loss there. Plus, you're moving the air loss. So you have a huge loss there. But then also you lost humidity control because now you have humid air coming in. And that's below dew point. So you're having to deal with that. And where's that air coming back in at? Where's the air coming back in the house? How's it getting back in?
Just flower leaks.
Leaks? Leaks, they're right next to the lettuce at the supermarket. What?
leaks from the house.
Leaks from the house?
Well, what do you mean? Is it coming through the supply vent?
So if we're blowing air out of the ductwork with a little leak on the duct system, how's the air getting back into the house?
Like the makeup air? The
Makeup air? How? Where?
Oh, from the unconditioned space?
Somewhere. Anywhere outside the house. So it could be coming through this plug outlet right here. It could be moving through the wall there. It could be coming through the cracks in the window. This sheetrock looks like a solid wall, but there's these little bitty gaps and these little bitty places air can move. The baseboards underneath. Cabinets. Open up a cabinet, it's like this nice, beautiful shelf. You ever pulled that shelf up and saw in there? Big giant hole. The plumbers, they can't seem to cut a nice hole and seal it up. They have to like take a hammer and be like, smash, smash, smash. Let me make a big giant hole. And this all that air is moving between all those places. You see where you have a shower, and on the other side of the wall in the closet, they'll have that access panel, which I like the access panel, by the way. But you open that up, look inside of there. Now put your face in there and just start breathing in as deep as you can. Open a wall up, put your face in there, just breathe in as deep as you can. That's what's happening to your customer. When you have this supply air leaking right here, it's like, just a little bit. You're pushing that air out of the house into the garage, and all this air coming back in has to go through the walls, through the plugs, around the windows, under the baseboards, under all those places in the sink. And as it's coming in, and it's moist, and it's humid with very high dew point, that moisture comes through this wall. And here the house temperature is, let's say, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius, sorry. This 70 degrees Fahrenheit, you're coming in, you're getting below the dew point. So what's happening is you end up with condensation happening right here in the walls. And now you're having moisture feeding, and you already have dirt and dust and everything else. What's happening inside the walls? Growth. That's exactly right. So just from a little supply air leak.
Thanks for watching. If you're willing, give this video a thumbs up and drop us a comment. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay updated with all of our future videos. And as a quick reminder, HVAC School isn't just a YouTube channel. Dive deeper with us at our main website, hvacrschool.com. Curious for more knowledge on the go? We've got you covered. Tune into the HVAC School podcast, available on all your favorite podcast apps. And while you're at it, join our thriving Facebook group. Also, don't miss out on our free mobile applications available for both iPhone and Android. We're all about community. For techs, by techs.